Welcome back to another explainer. All right, let's just dive right into this, because today we're dissecting a really fascinating linguistic puzzle, and honestly, it's one that's been hiding in plain sight. We're looking at a super short, incredibly common piece of financial terminology that actually masks a massive distinction. We hear these phrases thrown around constantly by experts, by our friends or family, but today we're going to put the language itself under a microscope to uncover the real difference between two nearly identical financial phrases. Which brings us to a really fundamental question. Are these two phrases actually the same? Just hold on to this thought for a second, because think about how often we all use these exact phrases completely interchangeably in everyday life. Someone might say, "Oh, I'm doing great, I'm living within my means," while someone else chimes in with, "I'm being super responsible, I'm living below my means." In casual conversation, we just kind of treat them as synonyms for, "Hey, I'm not going broke." But in the strict, literal world of language and logic, are they truly interchangeable? Spoiler alert here. They absolutely are not.
Section 1. Two similar phrases. Spotting the linguistic overlap. When we stack these two concepts right next to each other visually and audibly, living below your means versus living within your means, you can immediately see there's literally just a one-word difference. Out of a five-word phrase, four of the words are exactly identical. Honestly, it's so easy for the brain to just gloss over this tiny little substitution. I mean, our brains love efficiency, right? So we just lump them both into the exact same mental bucket labeled good financial habits and move on.
But it all really comes down to below versus within. And this just brilliantly illustrates how fragile language can actually be. To uncover the real difference that our source text promises, we really have to focus in on the logical implications of those two specific prepositions. A preposition dictates relationship, space, boundary. So by swapping out one spatial word for another, we aren't just slightly tweaking a sentence here. We are completely rewriting the reality of a financial situation.
Section 2. Unpacking within. The baseline of financial survival. So let's isolate that first word. The literal definition of living within your means implies a boundary. Think of the word within kind of like a container or maybe a fenced-in yard. As long as you're inside that fence, you are within. Therefore, your spending can actually go right up to the very edge of what you earn, literally touching the fence. But theoretically, it stops there. You haven't crossed the line, but man, you are leaning right up against it.
Mathematically speaking, within creates a very specific reality. First, your income sets the absolute ceiling. Second, your spending can match your earning exactly. So, say you make $4,000 a month and you spend exactly $4,000. Well, you have zero deficit, sure, but you also have zero surplus. You're still technically living within your means, but the harsh reality? You're literally just breaking even. A big fat zero on the balance sheet at the end of the month technically, perfectly, satisfies the definition of the word within.
Section 3. Unpacking below. Creating the gap. Now the word below completely shifts the geometry of our whole situation here. Living below your means demands a definitive, intentional gap between what comes in and what goes out. Below doesn't mean you're scraping the ceiling. It means there's visible, measurable, empty space between your spending and your earnings. It is strictly less. So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Your income is a ceiling that you do not touch. Your spending intentionally falls short of earnings. And most importantly, this mathematically guarantees a surplus. Below is such an active, deliberate word, It requires a cushion. That previous phrase, within, simply does not mandate that cushion at all. If you are living below your means, it is mathematically impossible to end the month at zero. You have actively forced a remainder.
Section 4. The real difference, where the two paths diverge.
Now, if we strip away all of the emotion and just look at pure basic logic, within your means means spending can equal income. Below your means dictates spending is strictly less than income. Equal to versus less than. That right there is the stark, critical contrast. The exact moment you substitute the word below for within, you fundamentally change the mathematical operator in the equation of your life.
And this gives us the definitive takeaway deduced directly from our source phrase. The real difference is the creation of a guaranteed surplus. The entire delta between within and below rests entirely on whether or not you are guaranteed to have leftover resources. Within is basically a state of survival. Like, okay, you're successfully not drowning. But below, that's a state of accumulation. You are actively pulling yourself out of the water.
So how do we actually shift our mindset based on this realization? Well, step 1, we have to stop confusing the two phrases. As we've seen, they are absolutely not the same. Step 2, recognize that within can literally just mean breaking even. It's a very deceptive comfort zone. And step 3, understand that below builds a financial gap. It shifts you from merely surviving within a boundary to actively creating a financial buffer.
To sum up our little linguistic journey today, we've seen exactly how one single word changes the entire financial equation. By dissecting this incredibly brief source text, we've revealed a genuinely crucial truth about the language we use every day. The words we choose dictate the rules we play by. If you aim to just stay within, well, you might hit your target perfectly and still have absolutely nothing to show for it.
Which brings us to our final thought. Based on the stark difference we've explored today, I have to ask, which preposition is defining your financial reality right now? Are you just staying within the lines, or are you intentionally living below them to create space for your future? It's literally just one word, but man, it makes all the difference in the world. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the details.